Welcome to the Copper King Mine and Railroad. Today we're going to talk about motive power. In the mid-70s, I worked at the mine on the track gang. This is the time when they was converting the old electric motors to diesel. So they had road names from all over the country running the grades at the mine to see if they could pull them. Now this was a fun time for me, standing on the levels, watching these diesel go by at full throttle. It was a little fun, exciting, and scary at the same time. So on my layout, the Copper King Mine, I have a lot of different road names. So stay tuned.
Today we're going to talk about my motors on the Copper King Mine and Railroad. I brought this old steam engine out. It's the only one I have. I think everybody has to have a steam engine on their layout for sure. They're just fun to watch. And this is just sitting over in the boneyard there in the dumps. I have a siding over there. It just sits out, so it's kind of on display, but it does run, and it's pulling some empties through here, through the city area. Now, I have about 10 motors on my layout. Most of them are diesel. This is the only steam I have. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know the motor types. I don't know what they are. I know a few, but so if you want to help me out in the comments and tell me what my motors are, that would be great. But anyway, I do know this one is a 460. This little Rio Grande steam engine here. It's just fun to have one of these steam engines. At the mine, at Bingham Canyon mine, they went from steam to electric in the 1920s. And they kept their steam engines around for a long time. Actually, during World War II, they brought some out because it got so busy. And here it's packing back into the siding. So it's a sweet little motor. It's mostly just, like I said, just on display here. And I have this green Burlington Northern. It's running on the bottom loop here. It's got some string of Oracle cars. Now it says this was a GP9. So do know that one because it says it on the side. And I have this Union Pacific. It's up on the top loop, and it's pulling some empties. It's a little bigger engine, so locomotive. So if you know what that is, let me know. So I've had these for years. I threw the boxes away a long time ago. And I have two of these Rio Grande Westerns right here. I think it just says Rio Grande. The Santa Fe blue and yellow one up on the top point to point. It's pulling some side dump waste cars. Oh, and this is a Denver Rio Grande. I like this. I like the lines on this motor. This usually just sits over here in the mill area, but I sure like those lines on that motor. I'll have to get it out and use it some more. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And I have this little switch motor. It just sits over and warps the yard. I had to clean these up a little bit because I never use them. You can see we've got the old-fashioned couplers on it. I do have a few cars that still haven't converted over. Then I got an F unit. Now this was a little kid's, I don't know, it was a Dr. Seuss or something was wrote on the side, a Christmas theme. So I painted that blacked out, put some of my markings on it. It's struggling, so that doesn't go on the layout. That's just kind of shown. Then I have this one. This was given to me years ago, and and it was old when this was an older gentleman gave me this, but it still runs pretty good. And these old passenger cars are really old also. So these are just the ones these are the motors I have on my layout. So if you want to leave a comment, that'd be great. We're going to talk about the motors I had at Bingham Canyon Mine next. So Bingham Canyon had it all. They had Shays, small steam, large steam, electric motors, small and large, and diesels. So let's take a look at some of these pictures. This is a wonderful picture of the Shay here on the Copper Belt Railroad. Here's some other ones. Now they say these Shays were slow and noisy and clanky. They sure could pull a grade. Look at this, how steep this grade is right here. It must be around 8%. Then the next thing, when open pit mining started, they used these small steam engines, these side tank ones, or these little ones right here. They called them dinkies. I actually had a city up in Copperfield named Dinkyville because of these small motors. Then they went to a little bit larger motors here. You can see here down in the run into the shovel, and then one here in front of the shops. Now, like I said, these smaller ones they just put in the boneyard up here, and I had them sitting up here for a long time. And it's in Upper Bingham. Then this colored picture shows them sitting up. There's a couple sitting up in the boneyard. And this is in the 40s, so they had these things around for a long time. Now on the main line, on the Bingham and Garfield line, they had these large articulating mallets. Man, these were some of the biggest steam engines for their time. They pulled the great big long ore trains to the mills, 16 miles to the mills. Some great pictures of these big old steam engines. Look at this one with all three of them here lined up at the shops. Then crossing the Markham Bridge. What a shot that is. In the late 20s, they converted from steam to electric motors. Now, these electric motors gave them good service for almost 50 years. They were a 750 volt DC. The shops, they would rebuild these all the way down to rewinding the whole motors. You can see some of these neat old steeple cab electrics. There's some coming down the switchbacks here, some in color. This is from the cab on this one right here. Now they had both sidearm pantographs and top pantographs for out on the main line. But when they went into the mine, you can see this one right here, this waste train's going into the mine, and to make room for the shovel, they used these sidearm pantographs. In 1948, they discontinued the Bingham Garfield line and made a new Copperton Low line. Now here they used electric also, but they used 3,000 volt electrics, and they always ran them in tandem, so they had a lot of power to pull the long ore trains out to the mills. Now this is a neat picture. This is when they came into town in 1948. So that was the ore haulage line. I wish I had some pictures of when they was testing the diesels in the pit, but I don't. So after testing, they settled on the EMD's GP39-2S's, and they bought them high cab. So this is what they look like. It might be a little different for you. They like these high cabs for when they was loading their trains, they could spot the dipper of the shovel. Now out in the main line, they used diesels also. They continued to use diesel trains until the 2000s, and then they eliminated them altogether. Now there's no more trains at Bingham Canyon Mine.